What is home staging? How much does it cost? What properties can and should be staged? We cover these questions and so much more in episode 131 of Foxy TV. Hello and welcome to Foxy TV. We are going back to basics this week to cover everything, hopefully everything, you need to know about home staging. For those of you who are new to the channel, we are a home staging business based in Brisbane, Australia, and have been in operations for a little over 4 years. Our team is now 13 people strong, large. And we have now staged over 1,400 properties for sale. Now, usually in Foxy TV, I take the camera along to a couple properties and show you different aspects of staging from behind the scenes and how it all comes together. I'm not doing that this week. Instead, I'm sitting down with Phoebe, who is a co-owner here at Foxy Home Staging along with Jake. I'm going to have a bit of a chat or interview with her, and that chat is going to go for about 25 minutes. Now, I know the modern attention span isn't quite that good. So I'm going to be putting a lot of film from previous Foxy TV episodes over our chat just to make things a little bit more engaging and hopefully keep you entertained for the duration of the video. It'll also show you some of our staging and give you an insight as to what goes on here at Foxy Home Staging. All right, enough preamble. Let's go to my interview, my chat with Phoebe. All right, Phoebe, we're going back to basics this week. In its most simple form, what is home staging and why would I get my home staged?
All right, so home staging or property styling, because we call it both in Brisbane, is where you hire somebody, the styling company like us, to come and put in furniture in your home and present your home specifically for sale. So it's a different type of marketing to get your home marketable and make it appeal to as many people as we can. And we do that by bringing in furniture and fluff that nobody lives with, because who really has that many cushions, and artwork, because nobody has artwork on their walls really, mirrors and little bottles of water and all those little bits and pieces that not many people live with.
Yep. We
bring it in because it creates a lifestyle, and that's how people fall in love with your home.
Okay,
and
so
then they pay more.
Expand on that a little bit more.
Yep.
So you just touch on the benefits and the return on investment. Can you just touch on that a little bit more?
Yes. A company that comes to you with a number and they say you're going to get X dollars return on investment, it's actually a very difficult number for us to encapsulate, because you don't get a valuation done on your home before we style it. So we truly don't know the value that we bring, because if
the valuation's correct anyway.
And that's, yeah, so I can give you basically an agent might come and say, look, I could sell your house for this much, and then your house sells for this much after it's styled, but I can't put that all down to the styling. We do know that it does significantly increase how much money that you're going to receive. And I wouldn't hesitate to say that you get dollar for dollar return on investment. So we've seen scenarios at the moment where some clients are getting $50,000 to $80,000 more than anticipated after they've had the property styled, when they've had the property on the market previously unstyled. But they have also changed their marketing team. They've changed their agent. There's a lot of different factors. There are so many different factors. And if you engage, you've got to get the right team. So this is something that we speak about all the time. And if you're looking to sell your house, you need to get the right team. You need to get the right agent. You need to get an agent. And when I say the right agent, I used to go on about local agents. So I used to say that was really important. I genuinely believe that is less critical now. There are so many agents who are now creating their own brand, and they go across all of Brisbane. You need to get an agent who is you're confident that you can have those difficult conversations with. They're going to be honest with you from the very, very start. They're not going to overprice. They're not going to set your expectations up here and then deliver down here. You're going to get it. You want to go with an agent who gives you the confidence that they know what they're on about. They have the examples. They have the stories to back it up. They've got the team behind them. So when you say, I need a handyman, I need a plumber, I need a stylist, I need a photographer, they've got them all there ready to go. That's when I'm saying you need the right team. So then you'll have the stylist come in. And again, lots of different stylists. You need to go with a stylist that you feel is you're going to go with, like, you can trust to do. There's a lot of money that they pay us to come up with an end result that they have no idea what the outcome's going to be. And it needs to reflect the price point of the home. It needs to reflect the type of home that they have. It needs to reflect the brand of the agent, and not necessarily the style of home that you tell me that you're not styled. And I need to be able to tell you that. So surround yourself with the right team, and then you're going to get a great return on investment.
Cool. So when people usually stage their home, when they come to Foxy Home Staging, are you mostly dealing with the homeowner, or are you mostly dealing with the agent?
We're 50-50 split, yeah. And that honestly, and it depends on the styling company and depends on the state as well. So we used to deal with a whole lot more real estate agents than we did homeowners. Now we have heaps of homeowners reaching out to us specifically before they've even chosen an agent, and that's down to our social media. So as a vendor, a homeowner, someone who's about to sell a home, can engage us individually. Same as if your agent has said to you, look, get quotes from these people, and then you go and get a third quote and you're more comfortable with us, we can still go with you. We can still go with you if you decide to go with a different agent, even though agent X has got us through. There's no relationship that basically binds us to going with one particular agent, same as you, as an individual.
But as with that point and the rest of this interview, chat, it is dependent on the staging company.
100%.
Everyone works a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Okay, what sort of home, what sort of property do we stage? Like, would you get staged? All homes, apartments, small homes, expensive homes? What works best with staging?
All right, so something I wouldn't style is something that is going to get knocked down, or a renovator, right? And so they're the ones that you're questionable if you can even go inside. Ones that are 100% targeting a developer. Doesn't mean that we haven't done them. But I walk in and I'm like, surely this has a better investment that can happen. So it's just, they've just wanted that box ticked sort of thing. Ones that benefit from the absolute most are the smaller the property, the most it's going to get the impact. So townhouses and units, the return on investment needs to be there, so that the pricing that's charged, it needs to make sense for the price point that you're chasing for that unit. So you can't spend too much, otherwise it's not worth it. However, when we bring in the furniture, the space benefits from the most. There's expectation that those high-end homes, those $1 million plus homes, are going to be styled, and generally they already are looking amazing because they've got somebody who can help them, or they've got that little extra that they can buy what they see in the store, right? But when you get to more of the run-of-the-mill 3-bedroom homes and townhouses and units and ones that have been tenanted and now are vacant, they 100% every day they'll benefit from the most.
What about when would you come in to stage a home in terms of the process? Say if someone was going to get some work done, or the painting, things like that, we'd do that. We'd stage at the end of the process. Yeah,
so we're the icing on the cake. We're the very, very last step, but we can come through at any point. So we have stuff that we've done for developers. One around the corner, we went in at the electrical stage because she wanted to know where they should put the electrical points in, because it's something that's not considered. And then we want to put the bed on this wall, but there's no power points on that wall. So then the lamps can't work because it made more sense budget-wise So we can come in at any point, but as far as when the house is styled, it's after it's cleaned and the day of photography. That's the perfect timing for us to go in.
One bit of a random question I want to throw in here. Some people aren't really sure, but what's the difference between styling or staging and interior design?
So staging is done specifically to sell a house. We are styling for first impressions. We are styling to make sure that it photographs well. We are styling to appeal to as many people as we possibly can. So it's not polarizing. There's no personal preferences. There's no crazy colors, because red can turn people away. When we've got photos of religious things, it can turn people away. So we want as many people to love it as we can. Interior design is about the flow and the function of your personal preferences and how you live in a space. So we're not highlighting a space to show that it's big, or we're not highlighting a space to show that it's versatile. When we're doing interior design, we're making a big, comfy media couch so the family can literally sit there and lounge and have popcorn, and we've got a huge big ottoman, and we've got everything's generally oversized when we're living it, but it's made for you to live in, and definitely not for first impressions.
Okay. I want to sell my home, but I haven't got another home to go to yet. Can I live in the home while it's up for sale, while it's been staged?
Cody, yes you can. Absolutely. So we call that integrated styling, and we do it all the time. For us, that we used to do more integrated styling than we did vacant. It's switched around now. But we've just got a couple of extra layers to make it easy, because I would never engage with, I've got 3 kids, and living in a styled home would be very stressful. But we've got all these different things.
Because you don't want to damage furniture, you'd be worried about everything.
And generally we bring in white and cream couches, and
to brighten up.
Kids eat food. they leave food on their face and it goes on the couch. So we have all the right insurances. Everything gets, there's included in the pricing is upholstery cleaning. The only thing that we wouldn't cover is if those children were to take a highlighter or a permanent marker and scribble the lounge or that's what's classified as malicious damage. Or a dog or a cat urinating on a rug. Those sorts of things. But we talk about that at the consult. We talk about it, and if we can equip you with, let's roll up the rug in between all of your open homes and store it and then only bring it out, it makes it so much easier for you. You keep the linen, so you don't have to worry about remaking the beds every single open. We send you photos, a big catalogue of the images, so you can replicate everything we do, so that when you need to put away all the trinkets so the kids don't touch them, you can put them back. It's just about making it easy for you, because otherwise there is no way I would engage one as myself. So I've done it to make it easy for me.
But not all home staging companies do integrate it.
No, they don't. To be absolutely open and honest, we've started charging a bond, a $500 bond to the vendors who are living in the property, fully refundable upon the return of everything being in good quality. And to most people, there's been no issues. It's just been a dog or a cat here or there that have caused an issue. But no, most companies actually don't offer it as a service.
And people in that situation who are moving, what about storing some of their furniture? How does that all work?
So we're fortunate that we own the trucks, and that is, again, about making it easy. So it's a service we've brought in, is that our boys will take out the furniture we're not using, we'll then install the furniture we want to install with, and then while the girls are finishing off the styling, the boys then take everything to national storage. The pieces stay in national storage for the duration of the sale. We can then bring it back at the end, or the vendor can take over the national storage fees and have it delivered to their house when they go to the new address. It all happens on the same day. Literally say head out to Brekkie and it all gets done. And again, it's just about making it easy.
How long does this whole process... Let's talk about install day first. So, first, what is an install? What is a pack-up? Because I know we use it terminology. So someone coming to the industry, what is an install? What is a pack-up?
So an install for us is the day that we come and bring all the furniture into your home. So it's the day, generally it's on the day of photography, and it's the day the team will come in and we're going to bring the artwork, the accessories, everything gets styled and it's ready to go. It then stays in the property for 8 weeks or until there's an unconditional contract. And then we come and do our pack up, which is packing everything up. Other companies call it a bump out and a bump in, a de-install, an install, there's heaps of different terminology, all the same thing. Basically goes in and then it comes out.
And so you just said 8 weeks. Now the market's a bit hotter now, so sometimes the properties are selling quicker. It's going, you say unconditional? Is that
unconditional.
So once it goes unconditional.
So basically for those who haven't sold a house before, you put it on the market and then contracts come in and then it's under offer because it's still subject to conditions on those contracts generally.
Finance.
Finance, building pests. So once those are all satisfied, then it becomes unconditional. Generally within 2 weeks of that first contract coming in and being accepted, can happen quicker. So once it's unconditional, there aren't very many situations, and it should very, very rarely happen, that the sale won't proceed. And then it proceeds to settlement. And everything needs to be out of the house on settlement because the new owners can move in on settlement day. So I say 8 weeks, and yes, you're right. So on average, everything now is being collected at the 5-week mark because it's all being sold very quickly. But on average, the furniture's in there for 4 weeks anyway. So we install, photography's taken, and it's generally a week before the first open home. Those offers are put in, and then there's generally 2 weeks before it's unconditional, and then that gives us a week to be able to organise the truck to come. So we structure our system as 4 weeks paid, 4 weeks free. Most companies only do 4 weeks paid, 2 weeks free. We do the extra 2 weeks knowing that it gives peace of mind if it's ever needed.
If it does sell early, what if you get an offer, I know it's happened, like the next day or that very week, and they accept it?
Like North Street.
Well, I don't know that one, but I believe you. What happens then? Do we give any of that money back, or because people have questioned that?
And I would ask too, because if I didn't know, and that's really important for us to get. We're not a furniture hire company. We're a styling company or a styling service. So we're a fully encompassing service. So you're not actually paying for individual furniture hire. That's actually a really small component of the fee that a person pays. The rest of the component comes out, it's insurance, it's removal fees to go in and out. It's the styling hours, which on average is around 6 hours per stylist per job, when you count for them selecting it, them inputting it, them taking it out, and then them putting it away when it gets back to the warehouse. It's travel fees, it's parking if it's in the city. It's all these extra fees that are set in stone that we, even if the property sells, which is really awesome because it means that we've done an amazing job and the agent has done an amazing job.
Yeah.
They're fees that we can't take away.
Sure.
And they've been accounted for. So no, there's no refund because there are a lot of things set in stone in the background.
Yep.
And it's a way that we can make it the most price effective as we can because we're not a hire company. We're a styling service.
Let's talk about costs. How much do we charge? Where do we sit in the market? And how much, this is in Queensland, in Brisbane.
Yep.
Obviously it differs where people are watching this from, but talk a bit about pricing.
Yeah, so in Brisbane, we sit right in the middle. And that's where I want to sit. So pricing, obviously there's many different ways to set pricing. In Brisbane, there's two specific ways that pricing's set. You own your furniture and everything like we do, or you hire your furniture. That's the two different business models in Brisbane. When you hire your furniture, your pricing is set off a middleman. You need to pass on your middleman costs, and of course you need to make a profit, so you need to add a margin, but your pricing is all set based on the middleman.
Yep.
Right? We don't have a middleman cost to pass on. So it doesn't mean that I price everything cheaper. That's not the way it happens. I can be cheap. We can have a more affordable service, but it means that we can provide more flexibility. So flexibility with turnaround, timing, install dates, hire periods, extension rates, all those sorts of things are far more in our control. And that's how we can make sure that we sit and provide better value and sit right in the middle. So then you've got other companies whose pricing strategy is to be sitting at the cheapest option. And then you've got those who want to do the luxurious properties and they sit at the high end.
Yep.
Just because they're middleman, they're hiring it. There are other companies in Brisbane who do own all their furniture and they are the most expensive.
Yep.
But that's because they're targeting a different bracket of vendors.
Yep.
So we ourselves, we target that sort of $1 million category. I'd say 1.2 below, depending on where the property is located. Riverside, $4.55 million home. That's not our whatever I say. They're not the people that we're targeting. I would refer that on to other stylists in Brisbane.
And like we're sitting here at the end of September 2021, because obviously pricing can change, but give us a rough indicator of how much we do charge.
So if I look at a unit, so we have unit townhouses packages. So basically in a unit and townhouse, same amount of furniture. It doesn't matter whereabouts in Brisbane it's located. So a 3-bedroom townhouse for us is $3,000 for the 8-week hire, including GST. If we just do the master bedroom, or if it's just one bedder, it's $2,300. And right in the middle for a 2-bedder is $2,500.
Yep.
If you look at a house, a 3-bedroom, 1-living house is around the $3,000. And then every time we move up a living area, it increases by about $1,000.
Okay.
And each bedroom is about $450
Yep.
extra. So if you're looking at a 5-bedroom, 3-living area house, it's going to come between $5,500 to $6,000.
Sure.
And we don't often see anything that's much bigger than that.
So people know that includes what?
Absolutely everything.
So insurance?
So yeah, insurance, delivery, GST.
Yep.
Obviously need to have a look at the property to make sure it's giving them accurate costing. But artwork, fluff, everything in the bathrooms, the laundry, the kitchen, everything's hung up on the walls professionally. The carpets, all their upholstery cleaning, everything after it's done, everything's included.
Cool. And how long do they need to be there on the install and pack up day?
No. Preference is actually workplace health and safety, but also while we're installing, so you don't have the pressure of someone watching over your shoulder the entire time, is actually for them not to be there. And that way they don't see our crazy, chaotic mess before we create everything that's amazing. So we say head out to Brekkie, come back, and you can see it just as you buy as well. And people love it because you've gone through this huge stressful process to get it ready for market. Selling a house is stressful. Head out to Brekkie and we'll do the icing and it's done.
And how long does it usually take us?
2 to 3 hours, depending on the size of the property and how many stylists we send.
Cool. Now, if they're living interstate, that sort of stuff, we can obviously organise keys through.
100%. A lot of times we do it all through the agent. So, nice and easy.
How does a person usually how does the process usually get started? Do you do a consult, quotes? Do we just, how does that work?
Honestly, there's so many different ways. So I've had clients who'll ring me and say, I'm interested, how's the process work? And I say, well, do you have a floor plan? Because I can get your numbers through today. And if they don't, we organise to go and have a look at the property. If they do have a floor plan and they accept it based off the floor plan numbers, I still need to go to the property before we install because I need to have a look at the colours and the finishes and everything like that. So we've also got our online quote request form online, which is how most of our interstate buyers will reach out to us initially. Heaps of different ways for someone to get in contact and get the process rolling.
Can the person choose the style? Can they choose the furniture? Can they work with you? How does that part work?
No. So it's stylist discretion. The reason we do it that way is because we know what's being really well received by the market. We know what's selling really well. We know the pieces that people are asking to buy from us all the time. We know how to best present the home for first impressions. And the most important part is we style for your home. If you come to me and you tell me you want a Hampton style and a 70s brick, it's not going to work. And it's never going to present your home in the best light, and someone's not going to fall in love with your home just because we've got Hampton styling. You need to present, it needs to be warm and traditional. It needs to highlight the brick or the exposed brick. It needs to lighten it. And it needs to not necessarily feel luxe if that's not the market we're trying to achieve. So all of those things together, you can absolutely have a chat and say, look, my favourite colour is green. I'd love to see some green. Or I absolutely hate this X, Y, Z. And we'll try to avoid it. Okay. But at the end of the day, it's not necessarily about appealing to your personal preferences and tastes. It's about as many people loving it as they can.
Yep. And what happens if they don't end up liking something to do with the styling?
Yeah, so again, it's just a conversation. Give me a call, we'll have a chat. I want you to love it. If you don't love it, you're not going to tell everybody about us. If you haven't had a positive experience, you're not going to give us a positive reference or referral. But again, it's really, really important to understand that it's about how many people, like appealing to as many people as we can.
Yep.
If it's a conversation about why I've positioned these chairs facing this way or that way, or why did I do a formal living in here and a family, most of the time it's just a conversation. It's very, very few times, actually I can count them on my hand, how many times anybody had an issue with the pieces we've brought in. Because most of the time they're like, wow, it's amazing, I never thought of positioning it that way.
Yep.
And it's just presenting it in a new light.
How do we differ from virtual? Well, what is virtual styling or staging, and how is that different to what we do?
The virtual styling is where generally the photographer will use computer-enhanced images and overlay furniture into a property. My biggest issue with virtual styling is that, and most of you would have seen it, when you're looking for a house, it skews the dimensions of the property. It manipulates how your thoughts of what you're about to walk into. You think it's bigger, you think it's more open, you think that the windows are positioned here, and you walk in and it's not. You also walk in and it's empty, and you're already expecting to see something, and you're already thrown when you walk. So it's already setting your first impressions of the property to be negative. To be absolutely honest, it's better than nothing in some situations, because when you're scrolling through realestate.com, a vacant property you'll scroll straight through. At least with virtual styling, something might catch your eye when you're scrolling through all the other stuff that is actually styled. But when it's empty, there's nothing that's going to catch your eye. So it is, at least it's going to give you benefit in that regard. But actually on site, in the property, tangibly, the difference is, it's not worth it.
Particularly when there's record numbers for people attending open homes and stuff like that.
And virtual inspections. Like you've gone and you've got them to the property.
How does that work? What's somebody,
so when an agent's doing a FaceTime or a Zoom inspection, right, and that's happening a lot. It's happening heaps, and you cannot get the dimensions in a space if there's nothing in there.
Yep.
So.
Okay, a couple more cost question. Who pays for the staging or the styling?
Again, that's different across all the different people in real estate agents, everything in Brisbane. An estate, generally the homeowner. If it's an investment, it's fully tax deductible. Talk to your tax accountant. Generally it is though. There is an increasing amount of real estate agents who are playing around with commission rates to then actually provide the styling as a service that they offer to give the extra value, so they now pay for the styling. There's an increased amount of agents in Brisbane who are dabbling with that idea, but they're not just covering it, they have increased their commission to be so it's included. There is a styling company in Brisbane that says they do it for free and they sell the home, so she's a real estate agent and a styling company. Just depends.
Yeah, it's all different
scenarios. Okay. For us, most of them are homeowners that pay.
All right, as a finishing point, Phoebe, If I wanted to get into the home staging industry, because some people would probably Google what is home staging because they're like, oh, I could do that.
Yep.
Just talk to that a little bit.
How I got into the industry.
Maybe talk a little bit about it's not all just about the fluff, because I know you've talked about that before. And then also, if they did want to look into it further, would you recommend any courses, etc.?
All right, so my biggest advice would be to contact a home stage. If you're interested and you genuinely want to have a look and see what it's about, contact a home staging industry, business in your area, and they'll be more than happy for you to tag along for a day or two. And actually go and see what it's all about and how it works and how it all happens. You'll see some businesses are far more organised and things happen really quickly. Other businesses, it doesn't happen as smoothly, and it's really great to have a look and see it all. Basically, when I started, we were doing those developments, and I thought, I'm paying stylists to come and style it. Would love to try this myself. You've got to have the capital behind you to be able to make it, to have a really great run at it, and not necessarily have to hire everything, and actually have long-term capacity to be able to build something in the business. You have to have the capital behind you at the start. Cash is king type thing, right? Yes, you've got to, but yeah, that's the biggest thing that I'd say. Yeah. I wouldn't say having to do a course or anything like that is necessarily going to give you the exposure or the grounding to be able to build the business. Potentially maybe a course in business itself, knowing how to understand your numbers, because that's how most businesses fall apart. I thankfully have Jake. Otherwise I wouldn't have any idea about my numbers. But the styling itself, you have to love it. You have to love the logistics behind it, because yes, we're a styling company, but we're a bigger logistics company, making the trucks run and everything work and everything happening in time for photos, and the staff need to be where they're at. And you have to enjoy communicating, because you're on the phone all day to agents and the homeowners. And love talking to people, and have patience. But all those things together. Yep. So the styling component is minuscule, basically. You put so much into getting on site, and then you're on site for 2 hours. And then you move on to the next thing. Yep. And the next thing is all the marketing and all the business relationship stuff and everything before you get your next job. So the styling on site, it's a very little part. Perfect. So, like I said, not all fluff and cushions. And also a bit of a plug for our YouTube channel, Foxy TV. We've covered a lot of behind the scenes content. So if you're interested in seeing how things work, our processes, some days where I follow the truck around. We follow 2 trucks around and see how it all comes together. That will give you a bit of an insight as to how fast things can happen, how chaotic things can get. It's not all just relaxing at home. Not smooth sailing. Yeah. All right, thanks very much, Phoebe. Oh, you're welcome. Alrighty, I hope you found that helpful. And if you have any questions, let us know. Now, this is episode 131, and that alludes to that there was 130 episodes prior to this one. So please, if you have questions, if you want to see more, head to our YouTube channel and you'll see a range of topics covering everything in home staging. Eva, our content writer, has also done a fantastic job keeping our website, our blog page up to date. I'll put a link to our blog page in the description of this video. And that is it for this week's episode. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you back here next week.